absurd seems completely sane.
Hey, listen, what's up, people? You know what? I'm such a burnout, and a lot of these times these videos are just reiterations of what I've been telling the guys that have been following me. And listen, I appreciate the last, I've been getting a lot of emails lately because obviously I've been on fire, and I appreciate you guys that have been spreading the word, and I appreciate you guys that have been signing up. Because this is a market that it's maddening, okay? Because I made probably one of the best calls I've done in 20 years. After the jobs report and we had the intraday reversal, I said, now everyone's going to say how this reversal is insignificant and how these intraday rallies to these big swings intradays aren't significant. But I've been telling everybody, wait for the UVXY to crash, and if the QQQ can stay above that 101.70, we're good to go. Now, I just invite you to the room because I have never had this many positive trades in a row. Now it's one after another. There's no way it's going to last like this. Now, my downfall, as always, has been my sizing of my positions. Usually when I go big, for some reason it doesn't work out. So what I've been doing is I'm staying disciplined, even no matter what the situation, no matter what the stock, I've been staying with the same allotment and I'm making money. And that's what I try to teach everybody. It's not about the money you make at first. Obviously, the bottom line is what is the only thing that matters on Wall Street. But I try to trade if I've only got $5,000 to my name, because I know a lot of new guys are starting out with $5,000. Now, yesterday's Intel call, when we bought the options at 25 cents, and I'm buying 3 calls for $75 and then selling them for 50 cents, and I'm making $75. But the trade itself was a 100% gainer, okay? Now, $75, what am I doing with that? Nothing. It pays a third of my cable bill. But I got all my guys doing the trade with me. Everybody's making money. I get a little bit of the piece of the action, and that's the way I've been trying to do my business for forever. Because I know the days of me buying hundreds and hundreds of contracts are behind me. Because I know, for some reason, whether I call it irony, if I would have bought 100 contracts, something would have went wrong. Like the Goldman Sachs today. Okay? So, stock is down on earnings, loving it because we're in a bull market. I'm thinking Goldman Sachs is probably going to reverse and go green today. So at 179.62, it breaks over the VWAP, and it's going green at the same time. That's an indication where you've got a 92.5% chance of making money. So what am I doing? I'm buying 3 calls. I think they were 120, between 120 and 125, selling them for 250. I think they're $5 now. Again, another claim to fame is I'll never sell anything at the high, except for lumber liquidators a couple of days ago. I want to give you a couple of hints of, okay, first of all, please email me at kennyglick@aol.com. I changed my email address to make it that much easier. It's kennyglick@aol.com. I use AOL. It just works better on my phone. Whatever. Don't mock me, okay? We finally, a couple of guys that were skeptical, right? They came to the room and they said, all right, tough guy, let's see what you got. And since they've been there, and you guys know what I'm talking about because now we're friends, skeptical guys, they came to the room and at one after another, here's where you want to be picking this stock up. Here's what I think's going to happen. If this does this, then you should be doing this. Buy this option or buy the stock. Laying it all out there for you. Now again, also, things have been so busy, I just hired somebody to just be my order clerk because I physically cannot be trading Goldman Sachs, be in the SVXY, be trading WIN, W-I-N-N, in some FEYE. That's it. My brain can't take any more. I'm in 3 or 4 positions, but then I see 20 more opportunities ripping by. So I'll just call him out. He's doing the trades, and we're going to start doing it like that. So now we will see once and for all if it truly is as easy as it can be, or as easy as I make it. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, okay? Because at any moment, we could have 30 reversals that fail. But guess what? It's not like we're going to sit there in the stock and say, oh, well, it reversed, I'm going to hang on and see what happens. No, we're going to take those losses. We're going to take those losses. And when they come, it doesn't matter. Because if you're losing 18 cents and every other trade you're making 50 cents on, it's going to work out in the end. Now, obviously we had August and everybody's thinking that we're going to have to test the August lows to show the true strength of the market. I say UVXY has crashed. That's sign number one. Sign number two is that we're having intraday reversals on the market, meaning the market's gapping down, and by the end of the day we're green. Those are intraday reversals showing us the strength of the market. We're getting through earnings season. It's not so bad so far. I know we have a lot more to go. A lot more to do. But again, as I continue to say, I think the Qs, I know this sounds absurd, and it sounded absurd when I said the Qs were going to 115 when they were at 40. So now this might not be as absurd, but I think the Qs are going to 143. I'm buying the January 2017 calls. So anytime you see one or two contracts going back on the January 2017 115 calls, that's me buying it. I buy one or two contracts every day. I'm building up to, maybe 100 or 200 contracts because I think this market, I would love to see it pull back. I would love to be wrong. I would love the market start tanking right now and the UVXY flies up so I can buy more. I believe this market is on a program. I believe none of this is real. We're living in the matrix. In 2009, the government took over the stock market. Capitalism was ready to be ruined. They pressed a few buttons. They transferred some funds from one thing to the other. They put some tripwires and circuit breakers on the market. And we are just, every once in a while, they flash crash the market to keep us on our toes, but eventually we start making it back up. Is the big crash going to come? Maybe, but I think it's coming after January 2017. Why that date? Because that's when we're going to be transitioning to a new president. Maybe something bad might happen. Who knows? Who cares? The bottom line is that if you want to be a day trader, and I gave this speech again at a seminar I was at the other day, and I did it this morning. If you're thinking about getting into the industry and you know nothing about trading, you're the best candidate for me to help you. Because if you're a golfer, you want to pick up golf. How hard could this game be? Just a stick and a ball. I'll just hit it. Yeah, I could do that. I play softball. Then you start trying to hit the golf ball. You can't do it. You start building all these bad habits. Your elbow's out of whack. You don't tuck your shit in. Your hips are going the wrong way. And then you go and take a lesson and you can't grasp it even though you got an instructor teaching you how to do the swing because you got all these butt-ass habits that you got from the softball swing into the golf swing. You think you know what you're doing. But if you're a guy that's never traded before, and I'm only going to show you the 3 or 4 things that pretty much have worked since 1987. I mean, I've been in the market since 87, really. 88, really started loving it 92, 94, stockbroker. I've been in this forever. .com, I've seen the crashes, I've seen everything. And I've seen the computers take over the stock market, your gray boxes, your silver boxes, your black boxes, your mom's box. Everybody's got a box. The one thing that's been working is the VWAP 1 minute, the VWAP multi-day, which my friend programmed into my Thinkorswim charts, which I will bless you with once you become a member of my family. Be part of the Glick family and you will get the codes. I will actually have a guy that explain the code to you if you want. Throw him a couple of shekels. He'll show you what to do. And I will show you the 3 or 4 things where if you want to sit in front of the computer and grind it out, I will show you how to do it. 200 share lots of some stock, maybe 2 or 3 contracts a day. And again, if you're rolling and you're sitting there with $1 million in cash looking for something to do, then go balls to the wall. I'm going to give you the suggestions of what to do. I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't have bought 200 Intel calls yesterday at 25 cents. The trade is the trade is the trade. Okay? They're all equal to me. They all have that same probability. It's your question. It's your, what's the word? I don't know the word for it. It's your decision on how aggressive you want to be. I'll lay it out there because most of my trades have the same probability of working. Once they break the VWAP and the multi-day VWAP and go green, you got about a 90% chance of success. So I should be going bigger at this point. but I've got my own problems. I'm what they call cash poor. If you didn't know, I'm a real estate mogul now. Buying buildings, guaranteed. Now again, why? Why? If I'm so good at this, why don't I just pile into the market right now? Because again, you got to remember, I'm a bear by nature. I'm very skeptical. I'm very afraid of global unrest. I think World War III is coming. So all you doomsdayers out there, I agree with you. But again, you're not going to know what to do when that day comes. Because your gold and silver, I still tell you, it's not going to be worth anything. But you are having a nice move right now. Will the Qs go to 143 by January 2017? Sure. But you know what can happen along the lines? How about a pandemic? How about some nuclear weapons going off? How about a nuclear weapon being stolen? How about a dirty bomb? How about some terrorists start blowing up malls for Christmas, right? That'll pretty much put a damper on my QQQ call, right? Pretty much gonna fuck your ass up on the UVXY if you're short that day when a couple of malls get blown up by you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know DDD was a good buy today on the pullback when it broke back over the VWAP. And if you want to trade the DDD today, you bought 1,000 shares. Next thing you know, up $500. You don't care whether or not they're making 3D dildos, 3D arm parts, or whether or not they're at 0 or 400 a share at one point in the future. You know that you bought DDD at $12.40 and you sold it at $12.90. You had 1,000 shares. You made $500. Just like we did. So, contact me. We'll talk. I get to know you. And I'm sure I can help you. All right? Because this has been probably the most extraordinary 3 weeks that I've ever had. You know, I'm being completely serious. Not money-wise. Not money-wise. But the amount of profitability, of profitable calls on a percentage basis. When you can make 92% profitable trades, it's not a coincidence. There's something to this. And I don't know where the market's going to go tomorrow or the next day. I don't know about the Google numbers or the Apple numbers. If I had to say, I think Apple is going to blow out that earnings quarter. They're going to make so much money. They're going to report such a great number that they're going to give you a free iWatch. That's how much money Apple's going to report. And the stock's going to be up 12% in the aftermarket. I think that's going to happen. But am I going to do anything about it? Hell no. Maybe I'll buy a couple of calls if I'm in a gambling kind of mood. But more importantly, why do I have to take any type of extra risk when I got Goldman Sachs gapping down, reversing, you're buying the 180 calls for 120 and selling them for 250. And of course, they're at $5 now. Or the DDD, right? I don't know whether or not this company's be in business. GoPro, right? GoPro's going to be either at $0 or $5 in the next couple of years. Fitbit, come on. You're going to be able to buy a Fitbit and a GoPro camera for $5 on Alibaba stock, on Alibaba website within years from now. Whether I'm right or wrong about that doesn't matter. I hate GoPro stock. But you know what? Yesterday it broke over VWAP, and the greatest thing, one of the indicators that I like to use, is the retarded analyst indicator. Yeah, the retarded analyst indicator. By the way, I had some techno I wanted to put on for you. I've been doing some spring cleaning. If you didn't know, in 1991, I was a big raver. Yeah. Anyway, found some cool hats, putting on some techno, I was jamming out with the kids. What was I saying? Oh, I have no idea. Alibaba, right? I hate the stock. It's an indictment on all that's wrong with the stock market and capitalism in itself. That we made a communist nation's bullshit scam of a stock the number one IPO in this country. I find it just disheartening for millions of reasons. I hate that stock. And then you had the lockup that was coming out, right? So everyone's thinking, but the stock's up 10 points since, right? Because you were shorting it into the lockup with the anticipation. Then the lockup news was over. The stock reversed the other day. Remember that one? I think I made a video. Maybe that was my last video. We had the Alibaba reversal at $60.40 that day. You had the $61 calls for 20 cents. We sold them at 80 cents and they went to $3. greed is good in this market right now. My problem is skepticism, and when I see the money, I take the money. Now, again, if you triple your money in 2 hours, by nature, you're just irresponsible by not taking some of that money off the table. Think about what I'm saying. Tripling your money, doubling your money. We're not talking about 5%, 10%. You know, you make 10, 12% in an investment over a year, you're considered a freaking guru on the street. We're finding opportunities every day where you're doubling your money. Now, again, the risk is different because we're trading options, but at the same time, we're taking the same calculations and we're buying the FEYE. You're buying the FEYE on the reversal, but you're also buying a little bit of the $29 calls. Why don't you? Right? Same thing. You got the stock making the move you want. Why not leverage yourself up a little bit, or in a sense, take less risk? You know, again, if Intel wouldn't have reversed yesterday and went up, you probably would have lost all 25 cents on the option. Okay? Because you only had 3 days left. But it worked. And it went up 4 times your money. It went up to $1 at one point. The thing is, options are a lot riskier than trading the stock, but at the same time, it gives you that sense where you know what the worst is going to happen. For instance, DDD. We're buying $13 calls out a couple of months, right? If DDD reports a number, I don't know if we're going to hang into the report, or whatever these are, the Twitter, whatever stock it is. Once you buy the option, the stock could go to zero, and the most you're going to lose is what you paid for the option. That's the benefit. But what's good about also, another thing which is the benefit, is most of my option trades, because you need the options trade to happen quickly, because time is not on your side. Most of my trades are happening right away. So you could take that money off the table and then leave a little bit on a riskless trade, meaning let's say you have $500 worth of options and you take $500 profit. Now the last 2 contracts go to zero and you can't lose any more money. You've already made money on the trade. Now you're just playing with house money. And that's what we've been trying to do. That's how we hung out in the Uri, U-R-Y, the XON, and the GoPro a couple of days ago. And the Qs. Qs was an intraday reversal, and we've been long ever since. So guys, email me. Let's get to know each other, and I'll tell you how I can help you. We got 464 more days of this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to retire on that day. That was my plan 5 years ago. If it keeps going like this, then maybe I will retire. Maybe I'll step up my game a little bit more. But what I want to do is I want to help you guys. And again, I hate being I don't need to sell myself anymore. That's why I say come to the room and let's talk. Because some of the stuff I want to talk to you about I probably couldn't even say on a video, right? Because it's illegal to take gifts from people. But then again, who's to say what we're doing?